All right. We back in this thing again. One more time to bring y'all another podcast here. We want to welcome everybody to the King and I Life podcast. I am Son Soul Lex.
It's your
Soul
girl
touch
Phoenix.
and soul touch of the poet in the house. We back, we back.
Yes, sir. Tonight, our topic is going to be unappreciated husbands, wives, girlfriends, and boyfriends. And how do we deal with that when we're the ones in a relationship being unappreciated?
Wait, but before we get into that, you gotta let everybody know. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms. You can follow us on Facebook and YouTube at the King and I Life Podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram and soon to come Patreon. You can email us, KINGANDEYE369 at gmail.com if you got any comments, suggestions, or feedback. So let's get into it.
Yes. We want to thank everybody who has been emailing us also. We got some things in the works for you all. We're going to make those announcements later on in the podcast. But as of right now, again, we just want to thank everyone for their donations and sending in their emails and posting their comments. And that's what's up. So, our first talking point is going to be when you are the one being underappreciated in your relationship, how do you cope with it? Or can balance be restored? Or do you make other arrangements?
I don't know who wants to get into this first one. Who want to get into it first?
I'm gonna go ahead and jump right on in here.
Go ahead. Phoenix is on fire. Let's go. Let's go.
um, so I'm gonna speak from a personal standpoint on this. Um, I know we've all been in relationships where we feel like we were doing more and it wasn't valued. I have been in relationships where I was not appreciated. The restoring balance to that. Oh wait, I got ahead of myself. How do you deal with it? For me personally, I I deal with it by talking. I mean, I have to say what's going on, or else the other person doesn't know. Um, and it may be little things at first, um, more like a gentle prodding in the right direction. Hey, I need more of this from you, or hey, let's try this. It's the gentleness in the beginning, and as it goes on and it's not being corrected, then I get a little more firm. Um, and then I shut down. Like I'll just completely shut down. So in order to not be affected by the lack of appreciation after I have asked and after I've tried to instruct and after I have um told you, just flat out told you, look, you don't appreciate what you have and you're still not making the effort to change, then I start to change me
Mm-hmm.
and how I deal with you. And for me, the shutting down of it all is me letting go.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
there is no comeback.
Mm.
And it takes a while to go through the process, especially when you really love your partner. I can say that from a girlfriend standpoint. In a marriage, when you feel underappreciated, for me in a marriage, if your husband or wife is not listening to you at all and not making any effort to change, those are grounds for me to leave,
Mm.
period. A lot of people say that we are so quick to throw away marriages, but
Mm-hmm.
to not be appreciated in that team, it'll take a toll on you emotionally and mentally, which will manifest physically. So you
Right.
have to be strong enough to take care of you. You have to stop catering to that other person who clearly doesn't give a crap about you if they're not willing to change. My biggest thing is if somebody really truly loves you and you tell them that something they're doing or not doing is hurting you and they don't make the effort to change, then they can't possibly love you like they say. not even a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, there is no coming back and trying to balance it out, because when I'm begging and I'm pleading and I'm hey, what's this, or hey, can we try this, and it's not being handled correctly at that point, then when I'm done, I'm done.
All right.
That's for me.
So how long does it take for you to get to that point where balance can't be restored or anything like that?
Um, I'm I'm submissive by nature, so it takes a while for me to even voice that I am not being nurtured correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So when I start to voice it, I'll be very gentle with it for like some months. Um, and then whenever I get really just to the point where I'm seeing there's no change, then I start to demand it. Then I'm like, this is what I need, and if I don't get this, this is not going to work. I will do the this is not going to work thing for maybe 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll start shutting down.
Okay.
Like, because I've done it gently for probably 6 or 7 months, but I haven't said anything at all for probably a year or two.
Mm.
Oh wow.
Wow. Did you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I'll say for me, how do I cope with it? Um, Basically, I find other ways to keep myself busy, whether it be some type of hobby or working out or spending time with family members. But overall, I will say that I'm kind of like you, Phoenix. I will, you know, try to keep talking to the person I'm with and let them know, what it is that I'm feeling and what I'm needing from them. But in the past, when I was younger, I quit to cut you off. Me,
Hmm,
if I told you a few times and you don't get it, then I'm not gonna keep wasting my time with you. I feel like at that point that you really don't give a damn what it is that I'm going through. So
that part.
either you don't care or you're just not trying to uh, understand enough to make the changes that are necessary for us to move forward. Um, as far as balance being restored with my latest relationship, I guess you can say, with being married, I find myself being more patient. Um, and with that patience, we've been able to work through those situations. Um, I actually feel like sometimes there were times when she would feel unappreciated, and it's not that I didn't care. It just I wasn't sure how to express to her to make her feel appreciated. And even though I would do my way, my way wasn't the way that worked for her.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like I would be frustrated because I'm like, well, damn, I'm trying the best I can. But just because you're doing the best you can, you're still not doing it the way that your mate may prefer. So it's kind of like those efforts, although you are putting in the effort, it doesn't carry as much weight when you're not doing it the way that your mate prefers. So once
Yeah.
uh, I started to understand that, and she started to understand, me and the things that I needed, that's when we were able to actually find balance and work through our issues. Because
Hmm.
again, I think with age comes wisdom and more patience. But back in my younger years, it's a wrap. It's over. I'm on to the next greatest thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna keep on begging and pleading with anyone to give me what I need. But that's my spiel, King.
Uh, for me,
I agree.
I would also have to speak from a previous marriage. Well, my third one. Um, I tried the talking thing. I tried the patience thing. I tried the um, understanding thing, even though it wasn't my place to be understanding when I'm the one that's being underappreciated. But you know, after a while of telling saying, "Hey, I need this, I need that. How come we're not doing this? How come we're not doing that?" After a while, I get tired of talking. If it gets to a point where it's getting to an argument or it's an argument, I'm just gonna shut down because it's like I'm not gonna sit there and waste my energy trying to fight for what you should be giving me,
Right.
especially if I'm giving to you. Um, you're getting everything that you claim that you want. On the flip side, I'm not getting nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna shut down. I'm gonna go find some other things to do. And my thing is this, we should not be having the same conversation, issue, argument, or grief or whatever for more than 3 months. There's really no reason for that to happen in a relationship or a marriage. That's just my opinion,
Hmm.
and that's come with age. Um, because I know my younger, yeah, just like you in my younger years, I would be like, "Shy, whatever, you do you, I'm gonna do me." But
Yep.
I got
Yep.
to that point where it's like I have to sit because the thing is, if you are again, if you fully engaged in your relationship, your marriage or whatever, you should always be aware of what's not in balance. Um, can you restore back? Can balance be restored? Man, um, yeah. When it gets to that point,
Okay.
there's nothing to be restored. Begging and pleading ain't gonna help it. Because that just if it gets to the point where I'm like, you know what, I can't do this no more. I'm done. And you come to me talking about, oh, let's work it out. Let's work it out. That tells me that you knew exactly what you were doing. You knew what you was doing. You knew you was leaving me high and dry. You knew you was neglecting me one way or
Exactly.
the other.
Yep.
That part.
So in that sense, it's like, what do you want to talk to me about? I'm not going to do this.
Hmm.
And the messed up part about that is because I know, we've probably all been through it. You know, you've been in that situation for a certain amount of time, and you ready to go, but you in a position to where you have to sit there and endure that nonsense for who knows how long until you are in a position to move. Um,
Exactly.
and again, in my last marriage, I was in that position. Probably took me, I would probably say about it. When I said I was done, it probably took me a year to be like, you know what, I'm out because, you know, I tried to be patient, even though I was past that point of, you know, coping with it and it can't be restored. But I still had that little thread there. But the mother arrangements came and it was like, you know what, I got to go. I moved out like the Baltimore Colts in the middle of the night and I was done. Look, I'm trying to tell you, I was done.
It's time to go.
It was time to go. You know,
Wow.
Yes, indeed.
yeah. I mean, and that unappreciated uh atmosphere. It was like it was taking a toll on my family and friends. That's how bad it was. Um,
Exactly.
and the thing that pissed me off was, you know, when you have friends for 20, 30 years and they just back off from you and you don't know why. And then when the situation is over, well, this, that, and other, you sitting there like, well, what the hell? So it's like,
It's
yeah,
just, but they don't really know how to approach you, and people really don't, especially people that really, really know you. 90% of the time, they don't want to infringe on your relationship because it's unsolicited advice and people take it differently. For
well,
me, I wouldn't say anything because I'd be like, well, they the one going through it, so I know they know what they going through. What am I gonna
yeah,
say? They are
yeah,
living that life. What am I gonna
yeah,
say?
Yeah,
But yeah,
and
it's just toxic all the way around. It,
it
it
is.
it's a poison that's gonna ooze through you and touch the people that you are closest to as
Mm-hmm.
well, even though you try to not let it.
Yeah,
Because it changes you. It really
it
does
really
change you.
does. Yeah.
because if you're that family member or close friend, you're on the outside looking in. So you can
Hmm.
see everything that this person is going through, even though they can't see it because they're in the midst of it.
Yep.
So, when you know, like King was saying, when you see family and friends start backing off, then that means they pretty much to the point of, okay, I already see where this is going. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and they be wanting to tell you so bad. But then they'll, that thought across their mind of, if you tell this person truly what you think or what you feel about this situation, they're just not sure how you're gonna react to it, whether you're gonna cuss them out
Exactly.
or tell them to go to hell, or you know, some people you can talk to them and um, try to explain to them what you see, but then they'll turn around and get mad at you and then go right back to the same situation and tell that person, you know what so and so and so and so said about us.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. And that's why I don't do domestics. I don't say a word about nothing. I don't do domestics at all.
Man.
They can come and cry their hearts out to me and tell me he did and he did, and she said and she said, that's what's up.
What you gonna do?
I ain't got nothing to say. Nothing. I
Hey.
don't do domestics at all because I learned my lesson early. I went to someone and I said, "Hey girl, he did da 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 da. I was there, da 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 da." This heifer went right back and told him, "Well, Kim said," I was like, "What?" Edit that out, King. Well, Phoenix said, well, Phoenix said, that she saw you and so and so and so and so. And I was just like, dude came to me and he was like, why did you say something? Well, because that's my family for one, but for two, why
Mm.
would you be so bold to do it in front of me, knowing that's my family?
right.
Well, I mean, everything ain't what it seemed to be between me and her anyway. Well, we don't know that. So,
Mhm.
and then she was like, nah, he said that's just his homegirl. They just smoke together. They just cool like that. 6 months later, old girl was at that door talking about, so he gonna take care of this baby.
Oh wow. So she was in she was in a underappreciated relationship and she was just going with it and
She was just going with it. But
wow.
the reason I told her I wasn't trying to be messy, it was just I could clearly see how unhappy she was. And I was like, maybe this what she need to know so she can,
Right.
Motivate
move
her to get out of
around.
it.
Didn't work like that. She went back and told him what I said. And it was a lot of us there that saw it. So she could have just been like, I heard
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. But nope, nope, she had to put a name on that thing. She signed, sealed, and delivered it. I was like, goodness gracious. But then on top of that, she stayed with them. That was what stuck with me. No matter what you say to someone about their significant other slash spouse, until they ready to move on, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
Right.
I'm not gonna waste my breath to tell you that you in a bad relationship because I know you know.
Hmm.
I know if I know that means you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Definitely.
If I know it, then you definitely know it. That's the same thing I say about musty people. You smell you before somebody else smell you. You know you stink,
You feel you stink.
Okay.
right?
Feel a little
So
raunchy.
Oh
I
man.
just don't understand when you're underappreciated and you know you're underappreciated. You have to start taking the steps to heal you because they're not going to.
Mm, yeah, that's true.
They're not.
Mm-mm,
Yep.
Now, that's after you tell them and they don't change. Then
mm-mm.
they're not going to change. Because I know some people that felt underappreciated and took it to their mate and they made the proper changes and those people are doing great.
Right.
I mean, they do great. For me, I think it's one of the next topics we're gonna get into. So let me just hold that. I'm gonna hold that.
All right. How about this one then? Do you think your other half has gotten comfortable, i.e., I got you now, so I don't have to keep doing the things it took to get you?
It's definitely it definitely has something to do with that. Because everybody, I mean, everybody gets a little complacent in relationships. And then you have those people who just take it to the next level because either they're so used to being so complacent or they see that they can get away with being complacent. And
Hmm.
a lot of people be like, well, shit, he or she ain't, they ain't going nowhere. It don't matter what I do. Um, and
Yep.
then that other person,
Hmm.
then it's on that other person because that other person sits there and they see this, that you actually see this happening, and in us as people in our minds have a habit of saying, "Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, it's not that bad." 6 months go by. Oh, it's not that bad. Oh, we do stuff here and there. Blah blah blah. Then a year goes by. Oh, it ain't that bad. And then it's like you see it in your face when you look in the mirror. Your friends and family, they see it in your posture, your body, your attitude, and
Hmm.
they say something to you, and you're like, "Oh no, I'm just tired." You internally you
Yep.
just keep making so many excuses that your excuses become actual facts in your brain, and that other person is more than well aware, unless you two are so disconnected in that just like, oh, it's just, hey, just another day.
Hmm. That part.
I'll say with some of my previous relationships, I think the females they will get to a place where they get, again, uncomfortable. Now I got you, and then when I bring it to their attention, like I'm ready to move on, then they'll show
Hmm.
just enough, to say, well, look, I'm
Yep.
doing this, I'm doing this,
Mhm.
I did that, I did that.
Yep.
So it's kind
Yes,
of like
indeed.
they'll kick the can, a little bit further
Mm.
on down the road for you, just long enough to keep you interested in enough to, keep the relationship
Hold
moving.
on.
Yep.
Yep.
So
Like that song be like, you got me hanging on a string now.
It's definitely the yo-yo game.
Yeah.
yeah,
Definitely.
the whole hot and cold thing, one minute they
Mm-hmm.
treat you cold, and then the next minute they all up on you. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm. And it's
again,
and it's sad because they do it whenever they see that you at the end. Like when they
right.
notice that you about to let go, then they do the right things, which
Mm-hmm.
makes me know you know what you're doing is wrong.
Yep.
You
Back to that.
know
You
you're
know it.
doing something that you shouldn't be doing because here you are, and I'm not having to ask you for the basics. The life water of a relationship for me, in any relationship, friendship, whatever, is communication
Hmm.
and respect. If you have those two things, you're good.
Yep.
So if you aren't communicating with me on the proper level, and then when I say, you know what, I've had it, I'm done with this, and then you start communicating, um, like you graduated cum laude from communications 101, then we have a problem. Just saying.
Oh man.
Um, you know how to treat someone, and me, the older I got, the more I started saying, I'm going to treat you how I want you to treat me, and I want you to do the same.
Right.
Treat me how you want to be treated.
Hmm.
Now I've gotten to the point where I'm just too old, and I just say what's on my mind, and you can either take it or you don't have to. We
Yep.
don't got to be together. It's just
That
I
easy.
don't know how much more time I have on this earth, so I'm going to be happy. I have spent a majority of my life catering to other people and their happiness and their hopes and dreams. That here right now, it's the Phoenix show.
Hmm.
You can turn the station if you don't want to participate in the program, but if you're gonna be on this station, you're gonna have to deal with Phoenix full force.
Yep.
Like there's no more burning to ashes and having to reinvent myself and come back anew.
Hmm.
Right.
There is this Phoenix is out, and she has very sharp talons. I will shred you to pieces and leave you behind at this
Oh
point in
man.
my life. I just don't have it in me to continuously argue with you about the basic life water of relationships.
Hmm.
That means my mom and daddy, that means my siblings, that means my friends, and that definitely means the person that I'm intimate with. If I'm in a relationship with you and you can't give me the very basics to make me be happy, it's simple. It is very, very simple. And it just keeps going back to that age old adage, do unto others as you would have others do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When your partner is feeling unappreciated, that means you've got complacent with them dealing with the absence of whatever it is that they're not getting at that point.
Yeah.
Example, I pay the rent and the bills in here, you take care of the home. And when I say you take care of the home, you literally take care of the home. You have been taught how to be a homemaker.
Mm-hmm.
So the breadwinner never touches anything in the house, ever. It's always done for them. You are catering to the breadwinner in every single aspect. The breadwinner isn't taking the time to just even say thank you
Mm-hmm.
because they feel they're entitled to what you're giving them. But the truth of the matter is, I'm not entitled for you to go to work and pay the rent and the bills. It's something you do. So I tell you often, oh, it's appreciated. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Might slip a note in your packed lunch that I did. Might get up and fix breakfast for you at 5:30 in the morning so you don't go to work with an empty stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Because in a woman's mind, it's, well, I got to do it or somebody else will. If I'm not doing it, who's going to do it? He'll find someone else. But when you do those things for someone else, and I'm using a woman's point of view because I am a woman, but I know men that are in the same predicament where their women are the breadwinners and they take care of the house. I see it so easily that people get so swept up in, I pay the rent and I pay the bills and that's all I have to do, but that's not all you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't give your partner the basic, hey, how was your day? Hey, what can I do to ease your mind today? Come in and give them a kiss on the cheek and tell them I appreciate you. Goes a long way. But when you do none of that and they're not saying anything, then you get very complacent in, I don't have to give them that.
Right.
I don't have to do it. I don't have to do it. And then when they start complaining, then it's a problem because they're complaining. Hey, I'm not getting it. Hey, I'm not getting this. Hey, I need. Um, and then that person is now offended and upset because you haven't been saying you've been needing it. Now it's a problem all of a sudden. No, it was
Yeah.
always a
Mhm.
problem. But then, as Son said, as soon as you say, you know what, I'm done, then that's when they, hey, how was your day today? Hey, I just decided hey, this Saturday, why don't we just take a long ride like we used to back in the day and just chill and talk?
Mm-hmm.
It's just enough to make you be like, okay, they trying. Bull
Yep.
crap. Bull crap. That's like the man in the little paradigm that's got you down in a hole and he's reaching his hand down in that hole and he's really stretching because he knows your fingertips are all it's going to touch because he can't reach that far down and you can't reach that far up. But when you widen the picture, the whole time he's got his hand down in the hole, there's a ladder laying right beside him that he could easily let down. He wants to make it
Mhm.
look like he's trying to help you, but
Mm.
he's not.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with people get comfortable. Because as like you were saying, the breadwinner get comfortable because he's saying, I pay the rent, I take care of the bills. That's all I should have to do. And that
Mm-hmm.
person get comfortable with that, and the other person gets comfortable with them just doing that. And
Yep.
then, when you were saying, oh, now you got a problem with it now. Well, y'all both got too comfortable for each other, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
wrong thing to do. That that shows that y'all really don't appreciate each other, and that person who's not getting what they want doesn't appreciate themselves, their value and their worth. Because
That part.
I mean, if you see this happening, like you see it happening before your face, and you keep passing it off, yeah, that person gonna get fake mad, talking about, oh, now you got a problem. Why you ain't say nothing before?
Hmm.
Wrong answer.
Mhm.
Wrong answer.
Mm-hmm.
Just own your neglect and all of that, and you
That's the word right there. Neglect.
own your neglect.
It's neglect.
Don't say I'm sorry. Well, if you have to say you sorry, apologize, or whatever the case may be, but put your actions into that because you
Mm-hmm.
know talk is cheap. It's very cheap, and if you're not putting forth that action, then it falls on deaf ears. That's that kick in the can thing. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do better. But a week, 2 weeks later, a month later, you back to oh, shit. I pay the rent. I do this. I do that. What are you doing?
Hmm.
All right, so
Yeah.
that leads us into our next segment. Can your relationship be saved once it gets to that critical point?
Woo. For me personally, no. It's flatlining.
Mm,
There's no life support or anything. There's no going back. Once it gets to that critical point, it's done for me. Um, because before it gets to well, that critical point is me mourning the loss of the relationship.
mm-hmm.
Whether I say it out loud or not, and most of the times I don't say it out loud, but
Right.
I am mourning that relationship and I am burying that relationship, even though it appears that I'm still in it physically,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, and
Yeah.
mentally. I'm gone. There is no repairing for me because again, it has taken me too long to get to the critical stage. So really the critical stage is really just it's been on life support
Mm-hmm.
and now I've had to come to grips with I got to turn this machine off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to die. It's inevitably going to die as soon as I unplug this machine. So let me go ahead and mourn this thing right now. So whenever I unplug this machine, I'll be all right. That's how I do it. You can best believe that that machine is my last little bit of emotion that I have tied to you. And the crazy thing is, I will randomly wake up and the machine will be off. There's no rhyme or reason to whatever day that I wake up and just be like, oh, I feel nothing. Oh, this is done done.
Mm.
There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's not like I tell myself, okay, so I'm gonna pull the plug on this completely on the 3rd of February. No. It might be the 3rd of February, it might be the 12th of March, or it could be the very next day. I wake up and I just be like, no, no, this I'm over it. I'm done. And that person will pretend from my personal experiences, that person will pretend that they don't know where it's coming from.
They. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
That blows
A
my
little lapse in
entire
memory right
mind.
there.
What is all of this? What do you mean?
Mm.
What did I do? Nothing.
Mm.
That's the problem. You did nothing.
Not a damn thing. Nothing. Literally nothing.
Nothing. I'm trying to say. I mean, what you mad about? I mean, I was going to work and I was paying the rent and I was paying the bills and I was. Don't worry about it.
Mm-mm.
You're going to have to still pay the rent and the bills while I'm not here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that blows my mind about people that use those things as a why aren't you happy? I'm paying the rent and I'm paying the bills. You would have this stuff even if I wasn't in a relationship. If I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't here, you would still have these are basic life necessities.
Yeah.
You have to pay rent and bills. That's part of
Hmm.
being a grown up.
Yeah.
So whenever they use that and that's all you have in your dusty little trick bag is that you paid the rent and the bills. Are you kidding me?
Oh man.
I don't know. Um, for me, also the critical stage, I shut down everything. Like conversation is minimal. Um, there's no intimacy. Period. Um, I try to not be around you as much as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
when you notice that I'm not coming in like I used to, or I leave for long periods of time, like days on end. Hey, I'm gonna go with my cousin for the weekend, or hey, I'm gonna go stay at my mama's house for a few days. When I start doing that, and that's nothing that I do, better. When you know better, you're supposed to do better.
Mm-hmm.
You know if your partner is changing up on you that drastically, then it's over.
Get a clue.
Yeah.
It's over. So when I go in and I'm packing my bags because I'm moving out at this point, You better not bring your rusty, dusty self in there talking about something. Where's all this coming from? What you doing?
Mm,
Because I'm probably gonna knock dust from your butt.
mm.
You know that I've been telling you that I'm unhappy and I feel unappreciated for months, and you chose not to do anything. Nothing.